Well, when my straw chopper belt shredded yesterday, the rotor kept going as the straw chopper had already stopped. And it threw a couple knives off, I see, which isn't the end of the world. I can replace those. In fact, I've got them in the shop. But it packed up all this between the rotor and the straw chopper. And my sieves quit shaking. So I have dug out that much this morning so far. And I'm still just picking and prying away. Ain't nothing to it but just to do it. So it sucks. I should be cutting beans right now. Okay, this is one of those do as I say, not as I do things, but I've almost got it unplugged, but there's one chunk that I can't reach up there and grab. If I could get this to roll backwards just a little bit, it would come loose, so we're doing sketchy stuff. Okay, I'm not saying it was good on it, but I am saying it worked. These were all facing straight back. I couldn't reach any of the stuff up in here, and when I pulled it, it rotated it backwards enough. Now I can get to this stuff and pull it out. So I'm gonna yank the rest of this out, unhook it, start the combine with the deslug mode on, hopefully run the chopper. I'm not gonna replace these chopper knives yet. I'm gonna wait until I've got the thing unplugged, because that's just gonna be all that much more resistance. I think as soon as this chopper starts spinning, everything else is going to clean itself out. The rotor is not plugged. Thankfully, it is still spinning. So we'll yank this stuff out and go from there. Yanking on the chopper drive pulley with a chain did work. And I've got the chopper unplugged. Problem is now, my shaker table under the rotor has so much shit piled on it that it isn't moving, but everything else is going. So me and the handy dandy metal rake here are about to clean all this shit out. Hopefully it takes off. Everything's going good. We're cutting 70 some odd bushel beans. The neighbor's shelling corn beside us. Half-mile rows. They're 10%. Auto steers, auto steering. Life's good, except I'm almost out of fuel. There's still a few yellow spots in the low spots here, but these are going straight to the elevator, so they'll blend. These up here are like 10%, so by the time you run the green ones through with 10% beans, they all blend in the cart and in the combine and in the truck, and it's just not worth cutting around them, so we cut right through them. Doing pretty well though. Making 92 bushel right here. I've never had auto steer on a combine in my life, but I gotta say, when the beans are this dusty, I am extremely thankful to have it. I have always had the ability on this combine to put it on here, but I never did because basically I didn't want to spend the money to buy the receiver for the combine. But since the 280 Magnum that I bought this year had that same 372 case receiver or whatever it is, I thought, well, it'd be stupid not to throw it on here. So I did, and I thought, I doubt I even use it, but you know, it'd be nice to have. But days like today where the beans are real dusty, yeah, I'm glad I have it. Well, I've got a full grain tank, and he just rolled in with an empty semi, and he's dumping the cart, so that was perfect timing to get back from the elevator. I thought for a little bit I was going to have to sit and wait, but it doesn't appear that's going to be the case. And we're back. It is dusty. Dusty is hanging, but we're getting with it. These beans are kind of a disappointment. I mean, they're not bad. They're definitely on par with like our county average and whatnot, but I don't like growing county average beans. I like growing really good beans, but not much you can do about it. Dry year. Started out super wet with compaction issues and stand issues, and then had a pretty good summer. Rained a lot when we needed it to, and then ended up super dry in August. So it is what it is. Well, this took an unfortunate turn of events. The entire damn fuel tank is now on fire. Well, the day turned to shit pretty quickly. Not how I saw my night going. You're not changing this. Well, here it is in the daylight. From this angle here, it still looks like it's in really good shape. I mean, the fire department did a really good job washing the side panels down, but unfortunately, you get to the back of it, and it doesn't quite look as good back here. It's a bit foobarred, you might say. The engine got quite crispy. In fact, you can see the crankshaft, or you can see the valve cover burn off on the top, and you can see all the lifters, and yeah, it got hot. It got real hot, but the head should be good. Shoved that off the combine. Obviously not very far, but had a hydraulic leak when I pulled it off of there. I didn't exactly have all my hoses unhooked, but kind of did that in a hurry. But yeah, I'd say that one's a loss. I came back here this morning with a skid steer, and I was able to lift the head off the combine, or get it shoved away from the combine and turned. That way, when the new combine shows up, we can hook right up to it. But first I gotta get that hydraulic hose on. So the hose that is leaking is one of these small ones here. I'm not sure which one yet, but it runs through this tube here, and goes up to the cylinder that raises and lowers the head, or the reel, I mean. So I don't know what the best way to get to it is. Honestly, I don't even know which one it is. So wish me luck. I got super lucky here, and the line goes from here to there, but I was thinking it was this one that runs all the way up through the tube of the head. That was luck. That was really lucky. So a little bit of an update. It's October 7th now. I've got a bunch of content coming for you guys, but I don't have it edited yet. But anyhow, do have a new combine. Some of you that follow me on social media have already seen it probably. And fire ended up turning out pretty good. I mean, as far as a fire goes. It was not as bad as I guess it could have been. I mean, they did end up, insurance took care of things, luckily, for the most part. And the biggest thing for me was the neighbor that was shelling corn right next to me. I was 60, 80 feet from their field, and I was really, really nervous that that fire was going to take off and get in that standing corn, and that things were going to get real ugly real quick. Fortunately, we were right here by my house, or right by the farm, and so the guy that was running the grain cart, I had him run and go get the tractor and disc ripper, which was already hooked up, because I had already started doing a little bit of disc ripping at night and whatnot. So we went around the combine a couple times. Unfortunately, kept the fire from spreading to the neighbor's field and burning any more of the soybeans or anything like that. So, you know, fortunately we were close to home, and fortunately the fire department was extremely good about showing up very, very quickly. Like, I was genuinely impressed how quickly got there. I think it took them maybe 10 minutes at most. So they got there quick. They ended up saving the cab, the tires, the head, things like that. Especially when they started using their foam, because at that point the diesel fuel tank, plastic tank, already had a hole burnt in it, and well, it was extra spicy at that point. So that foam that they had, that stuff's really has saved that combine. I mean, obviously saved part of it, but for the most part, insurance ended up salvaging it or selling it to a salvage yard. So they'll be able to use the cab, and all 4 tires are still decent on it. I mean, they all have air in them. Those front tires are LSWs, so they're not super cheap tires by any means. So they're still going to get something out of it, but do have another machine I've been running that I actually purchased. And semi's loud. Anyhow, purchased another machine, and I'm about probably close to half done with harvest. So these videos are getting a little behind, but they're also getting very caught up from what they were initially. So appreciate you guys watching, and stay tuned. In the next combine, or the new combine, will be in the next video. Sometimes with my words. Anyhow, yeah, don't really know what caused it. It started on the left-hand side of the engine, which is where the muffler's at, the fuel pump's at, a bunch of hydraulic pumps are at. By the time I knew it was on fire, it was already really on fire. The bean dust was so bad that day, and the wind was blowing up out of the south for a hurricane that was moving in. And yeah, it basically, I looked in my mirror and saw it. I didn't see flames, I just saw orange. And about that time, the Pro 700 started throwing engine fault codes, to which I couldn't figure out why, and then I looked in my mirror and saw flames. So then it all kind of made sense. Then continued to run for probably 2 minutes. I actually got in the cab and shut it off, just so I don't know that it really did much good to shut it off, but it ran for quite some time, and while it was on fire. So I unhooked the head and tried to back it away. Combine wouldn't move at that point, so I took the tractor and shoved the head off. My bad. Didn't hurt the tractor too bad. Just kind of used the front weights, but I was trying to save the head at the time. I didn't know how long it would be before the fire department got here. Fortunately, they did get here quick, and in hindsight, I shouldn't have shoved the head off of it, but it is what it is. You got to do what you got to do in a situation like that. So anyhow, before I rant and ramble, that's kind of the story. Like I said, don't really know what caused it. There was a lot of bean dust that day. I blow my combine off every day, pretty much religiously, but it was the end of the day. I had ran it all day. There was a lot of dust setting on it. Machine was warm, machine was hot. I honestly have no idea, other than we were extremely, extremely dry, and yeah, it was a bad deal, but it is what it is. That's what insurance is for. You hate to use it, but you have it for a reason, I guess. But new machine will be in the next video, and I appreciate you guys watching.